Every Formula One fan shares a common dream, and that's to visit at least one F1 race in real life. And we all probably have a dream of driving an F1 car, but I've not got a solution to that. However, I have been thinking of some ways for F1 to better reach its vast global audience. So first of all, F1 claims to be a world championship, but that makes it pretty underwhelming when you realize they don't even visit every continent. Obviously, excluding Antarctica, the African continent hosts 0 F1 races, with the last one being held in 1993. So realistically, F1 needs to change this. But what can they do? Plans were in talks to bring the Calata Grand Prix back for 2024, but eventually this fell through and was scrapped. However, thankfully F1 hasn't ruled out future seasons, so there's a possibility that by 2025 the race will be back. Even if this doesn't work, Africa is still an absolutely massive continent, and with the right investment and correct planning, many brilliant purpose-built racetracks could be set up across the continent. Although I will admit that finding the investment is going to be the hard part. However, if F1 wants to grow a fan base across an entire new continent, then surely it will be worthwhile to invest in some African tracks. But with me suggesting construction of new tracks, how would we fit these onto the already extremely busy calendar? Well, I believe a solution for the future is to look into Formula One's past. I've read quite a few comments across my channel from people in various different countries across the world, and many of them stress how they would like F1 to either return to or for the first time visit their country. And I believe that there is a realistic way F1 could fulfill these needs. I'm going to use a couple examples, but the first one is a little bit older, and then I'll go over when it's happened in more recent times as well. So between 1955 and 1986, the British Grand Prix never had a set-in-stone home. The races would alternate between Silverstone, Aintree, and Brands Hatch, and only in 1987 would the British Grand Prix find its more permanent home of just Silverstone. This was good. It gave the F1 calendar some variety every year, and it even happened more recently with the German Grand Prix, with those races alternating between Hockenheim and the Nürburgring Grand Prix layout each year between 2008 and 2014. And even after 2014 until 2018, when the Nürburgring dropped out the deal, the Hockenheim ring would only be on the calendar once every 2 years, leaving room for another track. So my question is, why don't we do this on a larger scale? We could have a calendar that rotates with new tracks each year in a variety of different places, rather than the calendars feeling similar year on year. This would give F1 the opportunity to explore more countries and markets and give F1 a huge global boost. I'm not saying this should be for every track on the calendar. Maybe giving drivers, teams, or fans the option to vote for some tracks that are staple and are raced on every year would be welcomed, with I imagine many people not wanting to see fan favorites like Monaco, Spa, Monza, or Suzuka off the calendar for even 1 year. But rotating some of the tracks people don't mind seeing every now and then would work amazingly. I can see most people not having a problem with Baku, Imola, or Miami once every 2 or 3 years, if in their place we got tracks like Sepang, Hockenheim, or Kyalami. But of course, this idea, if it were to be implemented, probably couldn't happen for quite a while. And why, might you ask? Contracts. We all love lawyers, paperwork, and red tape, and I don't think anyone loves it more than the people who run Formula One. As each racetrack does have contracts with F1, and many of them are multi-year deals which no one apart from the tracks and F1 really knows the ins and outs of. What I'm saying is, chances are these deals have some kind of exclusivity in them, and we'd have to wait for new contracts to be drawn up where these tracks do agree to alternate with each other, and I think that's going to be the hardest part. For many circuits, hosting an event as big as F1 is really going to be their biggest earner of the year, so they wouldn't like the idea of missing out on that 1 year just to share it with another track. Who knows though? Obviously this has been done in the past and not so recent past, so despite the fact corporate executives are rarely able to make good decisions, let's hope they at least consider it to get F1 out there to the fans who've rarely or never had a chance to visit a home Grand Prix. Subscribe if you would love to go to a Grand Prix, as we're trying to go for 50,000 subscribers. Goodbye!